Hello and welcome to my channel. If this is your first time here, my name is Courtney and my channel is all about connecting with crystals, learning about their metaphysical benefits, and really just becoming aware of this unique energy that's available to all of us. So thank you for joining me. Today's video is to give you some insight on some really wonderful crystal books that you should dive into during your crystal journey. This is a relatively short list, not too many books here, but I really do feel like all the books that I'm going to be talking about will really answer any crystal questions that you might have, no matter what level you're at. If you are a beginner, this will be great because you'll see a wide range of different books. So without further ado, let's dive into today's video. Alrighty, so we're just gonna go ahead and jump right into this. So the first book that I'm gonna be sharing with you is honestly a really good basic book to have if you are wanting to learn more about crystal properties. And that is The Pocket Book of Stones by Robert Simmons. So as you can see, this book is pretty small and it's not really that intimidating. When you are out, shopping for a crystal book, it can be really overwhelming and you're like, I don't know which book to get. Maybe you just want to know like what the crystal meanings are for your crystals. And I personally think getting this small pocketbook is absolutely perfect no matter what level you're at, because it has so many crystals inside of it. It's little, but it's packed with information. Robert Simmons is one of the most well-known crystal authors out there. He's really known for his large textbooks called The Book of Stones. But personally, I think this small pocketbook is wonderful for anyone that just wants to get information on the crystal meaning in a well-digested reading, Sometimes I feel like it can be a little intimidating when you see this giant book that's hundreds and hundreds of pages. It's just kind of like, oh my gosh, do I want to invest in this huge book? Or do I want to get this kind of small one? And there's honestly so many crystals in this pocket version. Like any crystal that you may have, starting out with your crystal journey, chances are it's going to be in this pocket book. I really do feel like the pocketbook gets overlooked, to be honest. I'm going to jump into the larger book in just a second. That'll be the second book that I share with you guys, his large textbook. But honestly, if you're just starting out on your crystal journey, or maybe you kind of just want to have a good solid book to give you crystal definitions, crystal meanings, anything metaphysically, honestly, this is such a huge go-to. Now let's jump into the Big Mama book. The Book of Stones. This one is by Robert Simmons and Naisha Asin. Sorry if I said that wrong, but this is the book that is the most, I feel popular crystal book out there. This is the book. As you can see, this is a pretty big book. There's a lot of information and it really is kind of a more professional type of book to read if you want to dive into understanding crystals on a metaphysical level. When I first started out collecting crystals, I used that pocketbook for 2 years. I didn't want to get this book yet. I felt like it was too intimidating. I waited until I felt called to work with this larger book. And honestly, it's just so much more in depth of each crystal that is explained in this version rather than the pocketbook version. I feel like if you're a newbie, this can be kind of intimidating because it is so large. But if you are a newbie that's hey, I love crystals, I want to know everything about them, I want to dive into this, then sure, this is a great book to have. But if you're kind of just want to get your toes wet and kind of understand how to work with crystals, what the metaphysics are with crystals, the pocketbook is perfect. This book is really a go-to for anyone in the crystal healing space, anyone that's in the professional metaphysical space. Everyone I've ever seen in person or online, they all reference this book. They're all using this as a main textbook. If you are looking to expand your knowledge in crystals, this is definitely a book to invest in. It's worth it. There's so many crystals in here, and there's so many different kind of like breakdowns of how each crystal is talked about. You know, there's this spiritual aspect, there's an emotional aspect, there's a physical aspect, and then there's like an intention / affirmation that goes along with that crystal. So it's very, very helpful. I love this book. As I've grown and, you know, evolved with my crystal journey, this has been like my baby. I love this book so much. So this next book is definitely my #1 recommendation to anyone that asks me, you know, what book should I invest in? I want to learn more about crystals. I want to learn more about kind of like this spiritual aspect with working with crystals. I always recommend this book, and that is The Crystal Companion by Judy Hall. Maybe you've heard of the author Judy Hall before. She is really well known for her book series called The Crystal Bible. I will say personally, you know, when I was looking for crystal books that I wanted to invest in and work with, The Crystal Bible, I didn't really resonate with those books as much as I did with the Book of Stones. But I really resonated with this book, The Crystal Companion. This is such an excellent resource for you if you are just starting your spiritual journey or crystal journey. You know, they kind of coincide. This book is jam-packed with kind of like the breakdowns of how crystals work, how to cleanse and charge crystals. There's many definitions in here. There is the chakras, you know, how chakras work with crystals. There's crystal grid kind of advice in here. Anything that you're kind of wanting to learn about with crystals, it's all in this book. That's why I really was drawn to this, because I was like, wow, this is such a good, like, well-rounded book that talks about everything. I feel like this is a really easy read. It's friendly, it's not intimidating, it's fun. You know, this is a really great book to have to really just expand your knowledge with crystals. I also think this is a really good book to gift to someone that is wanting to learn more about crystals, because it has such a good beginner-friendly quality. Someone who has like the spark of an interest of learning about crystals, if they were to receive this book, I'm telling you right now, they would be so excited, because it's literally perfect for that. And the last crystal book on our list is certainly not the least. It is Crystal Muse by Heather Askinosie and Timmy Gendreau. So if you don't know, Heather and Timmy are the founders of Energy Muse, and this book was the first crystal book I ever received. So I remember it was before my birthday. I was at Barnes & Noble. I was looking at books to get. I kind of was looking for a crystal book, and I saw this book and I was like, oh my gosh, I really want this. So I told my dad, and he gifted it to me on my birthday. I love this book so much because it really is like a crystal guidebook on how to use crystals and how to use crystals with purpose, intention, in ritual ways. Not only do you learn so many different crystal rituals in this book, but there's a wealth of knowledge on different crystal properties. So if you have a crystal and you're like, I don't know what this crystal does, chances are it's probably in this book. It's a really good source for understanding crystals in general and how to use crystals, how to use the crystal that you want to work with. The photography in this book is so nice. I love just looking through the pages and seeing all the different crystal photos. Oh my gosh. If you are the type of person that really is looking to dive more into like the spiritual aspect of crystals, you know, the healing aspect of crystals, you know, you want to perform rituals with crystals, then this is the book for you. If you are kind of like already into that kind of stuff, like you already do rituals, you know, you do moon rituals, what have you, this book is really going to enhance your rituals. This is another really awesome book to give as a gift to someone. If you know someone that's into like spirituality, if they're into like rituals, you know, anything in that realm, they would love this book. I can't even begin to tell you guys how these books have really transformed my life. you know, looking back on my crystal journey and, you know, really diving into these books, you know, each one coming into my life at certain times in my life and expanding my knowledge, it really has transformed my life in such positive ways. If you're looking to get started on your crystal journey, or if you're looking for a little pick-me-up, you know, some good resources to really dive into, I really do hope one of these books struck a chord with you. Maybe you'll get one of them, maybe you'll get all four. Honestly, you really can't go wrong with any of these books. I love them all dearly, and I really do hope that they bring you some really good energy in your life. If you liked today's video, please give it a big thumbs up. If you would like to recommend a crystal book to me or to anyone, please drop it in the comments below. I know there's so many crystal books out there, so I would love to hear your recommendation as well. If you are interested in me doing another kind of like book haul like this on kind of like my spiritual books, my spiritual development books, please let me know in the comments and I might add that into my future content. If you are new here, I would love it if you subscribed. Come on and check out some of my other videos. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in my next one.